Top 5 places they tell you to visit, but hey. No offense, correct me if I'm wrong. Don't forget to comment, subscribe, like. Maya Bay, Thailand. Cons: overcrowded. Degraded experience due to high tourist numbers. Maya Bay, located in Thailand's Hat Nofrat Tharamu Ko Phi Phi National Park, has faced issues of overcrowding due to its popularity as a tourist attraction. The bay gained significant attention after being featured in the movie The Beach in 2000, leading to a surge in tourist numbers. At its peak, Maya Bay received up to 7,000 or 8,000 visitors per day, causing environmental damage to the coral reefs and negatively impacting the tourist experience of one. To address these concerns, authorities closed Maya Bay in June 2018 for a massive rehabilitation program. The closure aimed to protect the bay's natural resources and allow for the recovery of the damaged coral reefs. During the closure, marine experts and volunteers replanted over 30,000 pieces of coral, with around 50% of the replanted coral surviving. The bay's wildlife, including clownfish, lobsters, and blacktip sharks, also returned and thrived during this period. Maya Bay reopened to the public in February 2022, but with stricter regulations and limitations. The number of visitors was limited to 4,125 persons per day, allocated into 1-hour slots to spread them out. Boats were no longer allowed to enter the bay, and a new boardwalk was built to provide access to the beach. Swimming was prohibited to protect the coral reefs and prevent disturbance to the sharks. Despite these measures, concerns about overcrowding persist. The closure of Maya Bay during the monsoon season in 2024 serves as a reminder of the ongoing efforts to balance tourism and conservation. Authorities aim to improve the island's infrastructure and provide a break from the masses of tourists to ensure the rehabilitation efforts were not in vain. Cannes, France, known for its glamorous events like the Cannes Film Festival, is generally considered a safe destination. However, like any popular tourist destination, there are some crime and theft concerns that visitors should be aware of. Here is some information on how and why crime and theft occur in Cannes. Street crime: while violent crime is rare in Cannes, theft is more common, especially during the summer season and in heavily touristed areas. Pickpocketing is a concern, particularly in larger towns or cities and on public transportation. French gangs and gangs from less wealthy countries are known to target tourists and locals through pickpocketing. Break-ins are a significant type of crime in France, and the French Riviera, including Cannes, has a high number of reported break-ins. Criminals often break into homes, hotels, or apartments at night, using gas to sedate their victims before stealing valuables. Lack of police action and minimal sentences for break-ins contribute to the persistence of this crime. Thefts on yachts and their crew can be targeted by thieves, particularly in marinas where security may be lax. Big events like the Cannes Film Festival attract criminals and prostitutes who may board yachts and steal valuable items. Physical assault: while incidents of violent crime, such as sexual assault and gun crime, are relatively low compared to other areas, they are on the rise. It is important to be cautious and avoid resisting if threatened for personal belongings. The reasons behind these crimes and thefts in Cannes can vary. The city's popularity as a tourist destination and the presence of wealthy individuals make it an attractive target for criminals. Factors such as the lack of police action, lenient sentences, and the perception that tourists may be easy prey contribute to the occurrence of these crimes. London is a vibrant and exciting city that attracts millions of tourists every year. However, there are some cons that tourists should be aware of when visiting London. Here are some of the cons of visiting London for tourists. Crowds: London is a popular tourist destination, especially during peak seasons. This means that many attractions and landmarks can be crowded, leading to long queues and wait times. It is advisable to plan ahead, book tickets in advance, and visit popular attractions during off-peak hours to avoid the crowds. Higher prices: London is known for being an expensive city, and this applies to tourists as well. During peak travel times, such as summer, prices for flights, accommodation, and attractions tend to be higher than average at 3. To mitigate this, tourists can look for seasonal hotel packages, tourist passes, and discount sites to save money. The weather in London can be unpredictable and changeable. It is known for its frequent rain showers, even during the summer months. Tourists should be prepared for varying weather conditions and carry appropriate clothing and accessories. Traffic and congestion. London is a bustling city with heavy traffic and congestion, especially during peak hours. This can make getting around the city slower and more challenging. Tourists should plan their transportation accordingly, considering alternative options such as public transport or walking. Air quality. London has been facing concerns about air pollution, with particulate levels at some locations being higher than those recorded in smoggy cities like Beijing too. Tourists with respiratory issues or sensitivities may want to take precautions and be aware of the air quality during their visit. Renovations and construction. London is a city that is constantly evolving and undergoing renovations and construction projects. This can sometimes result in scaffolding, cranes, and temporary closures of certain attractions or landmarks. Tourists should check for any ongoing renovations or construction work that may affect their visit. There are several cons to consider when visiting the USA as a tourist. These include gun violence. The rate of firearm possession in the US is high, and incidents of mass shootings occur, resulting in casualties. While tourists are rarely involved, there is a risk of being in the wrong place at the wrong time. Lack of public transportation. The US has a poor public transportation system, especially outside of major cities. Many cities lack subways, taxis, or a decent bus system, making it difficult to travel within and between cities without a car. 3. Lack of reciprocal health care. Unlike many European nations, the US does not have reciprocal agreements for health care. If you require medical treatment while visiting, you may have to pay for the costs upfront or face difficulties in accessing healthcare services. 3. Loss of privacy. Foreigners entering the US are required to have all 10 fingerprints scanned and stored indefinitely in a database, which raises concerns about privacy and data security. 3. Big hype creates big expectations, which can set places up for big criticism. And that's certainly the case when it came to England's Stonehenge. You voted this mighty prehistoric monument the most overrated tourist attraction in the world. And the reasons? Many of you are unimpressed by the fact that Stonehenge is just a pile of stones, lumps of rock with not much to see. Other respondents cited issues around the visitor experience, feeling there were too many restrictions imposed on visitors. In addition, lots of you were frustrated by that fact that it was fenced off with the new visitor center a long way off. Many of you also responded to Stonehenge's ambience with a resounding meh. While one of you said it had no atmosphere, another remarked that it had an uninspiring, been there done that sort of vibe. Lastly, it seems size matters to many readers. Prompting thoughts of Spinal Tap, lots of you were seriously underwhelmed by the scale of the site. It was so small. It was smaller than expected and located next to a major motorway. It's tiny, overpriced and too far away from the footpath. Suffice to say, Stonehenge did not rock your world for various reasons, all of which reveal a gaping chasm between expectation and actuality. Our tip: to avoid disappointment, expect to see stones when visiting Stonehenge. And come prepared for the fact that in order to protect a unique monument, you can't get too close. Summer solstice and winter solstice are the only times you'll be allowed to walk among and touch the stones.